Another gorgeous day in South Florida, a warm day, that's for sure. And the final day of this long homestand, which has been a good one for the Fish. The Marlins, a game under 500. The Braves, a winner last night, a dramatic comeback, and a much-needed boost from the minor leagues. The Marlins are hoping that Chris Volstad can stand up and be counted on. Jair Jurgens, the Braves, JJ, will be pitching. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. You got to have a short memory in baseball. The Marlins were basking in the afterglow of another Donnie Murphy walk-off last night, and they had a 5-2 lead going into the 8th inning, and then it all collapsed defensively, bullpen-wise. So the Braves even the series, Tommy. How do the Marlins react today?
Well, you're right about that short memory. What's your name again? That's right. You got to come back a day game. Sometimes to play a day game after the meltdown last night is good. Better than waiting an off day and having to wait until a night game. So sometimes to come back and play a day game after a game last night is good.
One thing that will jog the Marlins' memory is that their bullpen is short again in this one. The bullpen's been used extensively on this homestand, and Chris Volstad is up from AAA trying to recapture the magic he had back in 2008 in his rookie season. Volstad's last start was against the Dodgers in Los Angeles. Tommy, what are the issues that he has to clean up today?
You know, the issues that he has to clean up, he has to go with his sinker. Keep it down. Even if it's middle of the plate, if the sinker's down, it's a tough pitch to hit. He'll be making his first appearance against the Braves this year. He's faced them in the past, 1 and 2 in 4 career starts against Atlanta. There's a look at his numbers in AAA. They're okay. I think the walk's a little too high. The bottom line, though, he has a good enough sinker, and he's 6'8" if he attacks the hitters. I think the title of his game today should be Attack of the Sinker.
Sounds like an epic. Let's hope that it's at least a 6 or a 7 inning epic. For teams that are looking for pitching help, they're looking to make a trade before the trading deadline. Every now and then a team gets a guy off the disabled list, and it's just like making a trade for a top-notch starter. And that's what the Braves have with Jair Jurgens, who's been lights out since coming off the DL.
Yeah, the other thing about Jurgens, his injury was not arm-related. It was a hamstring, so they basically have a fresh arm. A guy who's only going to be making his 9th start, his 10th start this year, and he has good stuff. When his changeup is on, he's even more effective. Since his return from the injury, look at that, 4 starts, he's gone 3-0. The last couple of years, in 08 and 09 combined, Jair Jurgens won 27 games. And guess what? He's 24 years old, and we forget sometimes Chris Volstad's only 23.
So there you have it. This will finish off this series. This will finish off this homestand. The Marlins can erase the memories of last night with a win today. To do that, they're going to have to get a little more bullpen going. Edwin Rodriguez speaks out on a wild night last night as the Marlins and the Braves get ready to go. Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Rich, here, and good afternoon again, everybody. Game 3 of this series. Boy, you hope the Marlins pen can come through for them. It's been a rough go this year. As you know, spotty, very good at other, sometimes not so good at other times, especially for whatever reason when they're playing the Atlanta Braves. Look at these numbers here for the pen against the Braves this year. The ERA is almost 8. Hits not too bad there, but those walks are killers. 21 walks, 26 and a third innings overall. It's just bad numbers for the Marlins. And last night it was costly again, but as Edwin Rodriguez told me, doesn't want to see any hangover today.
First, we have to put away that last night game. We have to regroup and come to date and try to get this one, last game of the homestand. And we already showed that we're able to do that last loss against Colorado, that we lost 10-0, that we came back and had 2 good games. So hopefully we come out today, the Bosta throws strike, attack hitters, and the bullpen should be better than yesterday. We have Veras today, we have Hensley and Nunez available today, so we should be in better shape today.
One other thing the Marlins are hoping for is Hanley Ramirez, who had 2 hits in his last 3 times up. It's been a very quiet July. No extra base hits in 17 games, but maybe that late 2 for 3 last night, and also some very good defense on his part will spur him on, and he can help lead the Marlins here to victory against Jared Jurgens, who's been pitching very well since coming off the DL. We're set for Game 3 in the finale of the homestand on a getaway day for the Marlins. As Chris Bolstad returns, tries to get his 5th victory of the season. On the ballgame coming up for you next, right here on Fox Sports Florida.
Toyota moving forward. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. All right, you ready for this? Braves and Marlins, so many twists and turns the first 2 games of this series. The Braves still firmly entrenched in first place in the National League East. Atlanta's lead is 6 games over Philadelphia. Their lineup, Martin Prado, Jason Hayward. The Marlins just cannot get him out. He's 5 for 6 with 4 walks in this series. Eric Hinsky gets his start at left. Brian McCann behind the plate. Chipper gets the day off. Troy Gloss at first. Alex Gonzalez at short. Brooks Conrad, the hero with a slam last night. Melky Cabrera in center. Jurgens will hit 9th.
Yeah, there are a couple of guys, Rich, between Prado and Hayward, that the Marlins have had trouble in this 2-game series keeping off the bases.
And the top of the order has been tough. Prado, the Marlins have had trouble keeping him in the ballpark. Volstad throws a strike. Chris's overall numbers. The ERA not that bad, but look at the record at 4-8. And the Marlins have lost 10 of his last 11 starts. That's another troubling number for the Fish. Here's his 1-1. And he misses up and in. Prado has homered in each game. He led off against Anibal Sanchez with a home run yesterday, and then he homered against Alex Sanabria back on Friday.
You know, one of the tough parts, and I think it could have changed things for Chris Volstad early in the year, he had some games where he pitched well enough to win, but got no decisions or losses. And then things took a turn and went in a wrong direction.
Volstad's 3 starts in New Orleans, his ERA in the low 3s. There's a big curveball that misses up. He's run the count full to 3-2. Hit well to center. Cody right in his tracks. Makes the catch. A little different look defensively.
And our defense brought to you by TGI Fridays. There it is. Coughlin, Ross, and Stanton. Wes Helms with the start at third base. Everything else the same. Brad Davis with his second start, looking for his first major league hit. And I think a good combo because Brad Davis caught Chris Volstad in 2 of his starts in New Orleans. So they're very familiar with each other.
The Marlins are seeing the best of Jason Hayward, that's for sure. He's 5 for 6 with 4 walks in the 2 games. Volstad just misses with a fastball. Ball and a strike. Fielding Cool Breath, Marty Foster, Gary Cedarstrom, Ed Hickox. Our umpires.
Tell you one thing about Chris, he's got a very, very swift pace. He's getting the ball, getting the sign, and wanting to make the pitch.
Gone 3-1 now on Hayward, whose patience has been impressive. Little tapper foul. Here are some of his highlights in this series.
We haven't seen extra base power, but we've seen a lot of on base. And there's another, his 5th walk of this series. So Hayward came in 5 for 6 in the series, now with 5 walks. He also has an 8-game hitting streak and has been on a tear since he's come off the disabled list with that thumb injury.
And a threat to run, and certainly the Braves know Volstad well enough to know that Chris is not that quick to the plate. And here's Hinske. He's played a bit part in this series. Last night, a 2-run single in that 8-run 8th inning. Volstad goes up and gets a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, you look at the first 2 hitters, and if you expect Chris Volstad to get 5-6 innings, he can't go 3-2 on every hitter, and he's gone 3-2 on the first 2 hitters.
Hayward 7 stolen bases this year. Volstad steps off. Chris has only made, and this is a little surprising, 4 starts against the Braves in his career. As much as the Marlins and the Braves play each other, and Volstad's been part of the rotation since the midpoint of 08 and all of last year and most of this year. 4 starts, 1-2, a 4.30 ERA. Did not face them earlier this year.
You know, an indication to how he's pitched and not had a whole lot of luck. At home, his ERA is 3.56, but he has a record of 2-4.
Sharp ground ball into right field by Gabby Sanchez. Stanton kicks it. Hayward to third. He'll be held there. And there are runners at the corners now, and here comes McCann.
I don't think the kick meant anything. Hayward was going to make third base easy. But Hinske, who's making his 48th start today, has really been a nice find, a nice pickup for Atlanta. He gets the sharp single, but Hayward had his head down. He was going to third anyway.
Now McCann, who was a one-man wrecking crew on Friday night with a 3-run homer and an RBI single. Both of those were key hits for the Braves. Both of those tied the game. And then an RBI single yesterday. That gave the Braves a brief 2-1 lead.
Well, you can see why the Braves have been playing so well.
There's a liner into right field. That's a base hit. And Atlanta is on top just like that, 1-0.
Not only is McCann hot, every time he comes up, there are men on base. And he comes through. He has a 4-game hitting streak. My point was they're playing well because they have a lot of guys hot. Prado's on fire. Hayward's on fire. Hinske's been swinging a hot bat. McCann now with a 4-game hitting streak.
And to your point about guys being on base, they lead the National League in drawing walks. They've got 2 guys who are normally in the middle of their order that are in the top 7. One of them is getting the day off, and that's Chipper Jones. The other is standing at the plate, Troy Gloss. And Volstad nearly hits him. And this is not what the Marlins had mapped out for Chris Volstad. Prado hit a line drive to center for the first out, a walk to Hayward, and Hinske and McCann have ripped singles to right.
I think basically we've not seen sinkers down, and he's been inconsistent with his off-speed stuff. And already 21 pitches.
The whole Marlin infield right now just converged on the mound. I think they're all just trying to encourage Volstad and get him through this.
Yeah, I think they realize the importance of trying to keep Chris out there as long as possible.
There's 21 pitches already, and he's got just 1 out and runners at the corners. Now, a ground ball here can get him out of the inning. As rain starts to fall here in South Florida. There's a strike. 2-0, Gloss. Rather quiet series. But if you don't throw strikes to him, he'll take the walk. Counts full now, 3-2.
So 3-2 counts.
In the dirt, and it's ball 4. And here comes Randy St. Clair to try to calm down Chris Volstad.
You know, it was an area, and I understand Chris's presence here today is out of necessity. The Marlins need somebody to get into that rotation and take over. But in AAA, in his 3 starts, Chris's ERA was respectable, 3.18. But in 17 innings, he had 9 walks, 13 strikeouts. That's not a number you'd like to see in the minor leagues prior to coming up to the big leagues.
Back to the big leagues and back to one of the better teams in the big leagues right now, the Atlanta Braves. So a rude welcome so far.
When your walk totals are high in the minor leagues, that's disturbing because minor league hitters are free swingers.
Alex Gonzalez pops it up. Gabby is there, and he makes the catch. Big out for Volstad. If he can get out of this inning and give up just the 1 run, the Marlins have to feel pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, they do. but he has Mr. Grand Slam coming to the plate.
That's right. Although this is not a pinch hitting situation, both of his grand slams this year have come in a pinch hitting role. And he did it again last night on a 3-1 pitch after the Marlins defensively kicked it around in the 8th. Brooks Conrad made it hurt with his pinch hit grand slam. And a strike from Volstad. Conrad joining a select list of guys that have hit 2 pinch hit grand slams in a season.
Not too many guys on that list either.
Davey Johnson, Mike Ivey, Darryl Strawberry, and most recently Ben Broussard of the Cleveland Indians.
What year did Davey Johnson hit his?
78. He was with Philadelphia. Ivy, of course, with San Francisco. Strawberry with the Yankees. The career record is 3. Got him at the knees. A sinker. Volstad strikes out Conrad. He doesn't like the call. Bobby Cox right now jawing with Gary Cederstrom. Rain shower as the Marlins and the Braves are underway. The Braves have a run. The Fish lineup looks this way. Chris Coghlan leads it off in left field. Gabby Sanchez had a great homestand. Andy Ramirez at short. Dan Uggla's homered in 3 straight games against the Braves, 2 straight in this series. Cody Ross, Wes Helms, Mike Stanton, a laser beam homer last night. Brad Davis looking for his first big league hit, and Volstad hits 9th.
And their first look this year at the 24-year-old right-hander out of Curacao, Jair Jurgens. Good stuff, good fastball, breaking ball, and when his changeup is effective, he's even tougher.
He throws a strike to Coghlan. Coghlan 3 for 9 in this series and has had some success against Jurgens. 3 for 7 with a double. Pulls that one foul. You see Jurgens stumble off the mound. He's had health issues this year. He had some shoulder tenderness in spring training and a hamstring injury. He was running in the outfield and strained a hamstring and went down and on the disabled list. Watch this.
Like a little slip on that plant foot, the left leg. He gave a thumbs up, a real quick thumbs up over to the Atlanta dugout, though.
McCann setting up way outside. Since coming off the disabled list, he has been lightning. 3-0, 2.19 ERA in 4 starts. So he is on a nice roll for the Braves as well.
Well, he's a guy, Rich. Last year, he won 14 games, but his ERA, 2.60, that was third in the National League.
You know, the Braves did not score a lot of runs last year, that's for sure. 2-2 coming to Coughlin. Jurgens misses. It counts 3-2.
And not an original Atlanta Brave. He came over in a trade from Detroit.
Edgar Renteria. Tigers wanted a veteran shortstop. Braves knew they had Escobar coming up, and they ended up getting a top-flight starter for him. Coughlin lines it into left field. That's a base hit. Good to see. Chris is back in his groove now.
Yeah, he's got that left field stroke down now. He pulled the ball last night. Now he has a 5-game hitting streak. Much, much better at bats. Look how he stayed on that ball. Front side is there. Head is on the ball. Just a beautiful swing on that line drive.
Martin Prado came in to talk to Jurgens almost to say, are you all right? Because he continues to not limp around the mound, but kind of tender-footed around. Jurgens is a talent, that's for sure. It's a little better move. Coughlin, not a big lead.
Well, a couple of good talents opposing each other. Gabby Sanchez, 6-game hitting streak. He's shown his talents over this homestand and all year.
That's the pitch that Bobby Cox was squawking about, and I'll bet you he's squawking right now.
Yeah, home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom.
Cederstrom.
Bobby was jawing at him all between innings.
That's the Fox Tracks brought to you by Toyota, and that's almost the same spot strike 3 was to Brooks Conrad. There's a chopper out towards short. Out there. Out there. Good slide at second. Coughlin really got a good piece of Prado. Braves improved defensively with Gonzalez at short, brought to you by TGI Fridays.
They're very solid. Hensky, Cabrera, and Hayward in that outfield, but up the middle, just watching that double play started by Alex Gonzalez, sweetly turned. Brooks Conrad to start at third base, and that guy McCann, we've already seen his offensive business today. He's behind the plate.
Now Hanley, who had a couple of hits in last night's ball game, but is still looking for some extra base hits. 17 games without an extra base hit. And the Marlins have been winning despite a lack of production from the 3 spot. Jurgens misses outside. And that certainly is the tantalizing thing. If the Fish can get Hanley going, then you feel like they could stay on this roll. Of course, Hanley can't pitch the 7th and the 8th inning, and that's a whole other issue. Lines it to center field. Well hit. Cabrera is there. Jurgens works an 11-pitch inning. had a discussion with Gary Cederstrom. I don't think it was about the strike zone. I think it's about something else in this game, because Cox didn't come out angry and their conversation was not antagonistic.
Well, if it were about the strike zone, he'd have to be tossed the way Edwin Rodriguez was tossed last night.
That was a pretty quick trigger last night by Marty Foster. Melky Cabrera takes a couple of strikes from Volstad. Let's see if Chris can settle into this ball game now. Cabrera, Jair Jurgens, and Martin Prado for the Braves. Fastball and a little pop-up, and that's going to nestle in for a base hit. Helms picks it up. Melky Cabrera a single. Up comes Jurgens. We check in with Craig.
Thank you, Rich. Edwin Rodriguez told us that he wanted to get Ronnie Polino catching both Velasco and Josh Johnson in San Francisco. So Brad Davis gets the start today, which is good for one other reason, too. He had a chance to catch Chris Volstad a couple of times down in New Orleans.
I know what he's got. I've caught him recently. He's had one start since I've been called up, so I had the 2 previous starts. And, I think we got into a little bit of a groove down there, and, we're working the big part of the plate, but down and using his sinker and getting a lot of ground balls.
One thing Edwin said is even on the days where your control is good, and something you alluded to, Tommy, on the minor league level, he said he didn't really look at that because the major league level is a lot different. So command, good or bad, you still have to do it over here. Volstad struggled in the first. Hopefully getting back on track here. Give the Marlins 5 or 6 in this ballgame today.
All right, thank you, Craig. A sacrifice bunt by Jair Jurgens. And here comes Martin Prado. The Braves have it set up now, runner in scoring position. And 2 of their hottest bats this series, Prado and Hayward, get a look at Volstad. Prado hit a screaming liner out to Cody Ross back in the first. Chris gets out in front, 0-1.
Whatever conversation took place when Randy St. Clair went out the first inning after the walk to Gloss, it's been a little different Chris Volstad since then.
Ball and a strike to the all-star second baseman of the Atlanta Braves, Martin Prado. Well deserved, too. I mean, remember a couple things. They had Kelly Johnson there last year, but they never could really find a guy that would fit that leadoff spot. Well, Prado not only stole Johnson's job, but he's also been a very nice leadoff hitter. Who would have thought that he'd hit 13 home runs at this point and drive in 42?
He's second in the league in hitting. Came into the game hitting .321.
His on-base percentage, .364. Went after ball 4 there, and the count now 3-2. Another liner, and again right at Cody. So Prado has hit 2 right on the button, and both he squared up right at the Marlins center fielder. Here comes Jason Hayward. You have a chance to play catch with Cody Ross by visiting any participating South Florida Jiffy Lube. Register for the Play Catch with Cody sweepstakes. You can win 1 year of free oil changes, plus the chance to play catch with Cody and more. Visit Jiffy Lube for details. Jiffy Lube, official oil change of the Marlins. Hayward walked and scored in the first. His first at bat, correct me if I'm wrong, he had the sunglasses on, right?
Yeah, he did.
And it was a little overcast.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think his first AB, the sun wasn't out as brightly as it is now.
That's right.
Rich, you can always correct me if I'm wrong.
0-2 coming. Struck him out. Hayward drops the bat. He's not happy. And right now, Gary Cedarstrom, I don't think is too pleased either. Yeah, look at Bobby Cox is telling Jason Hayward, just calm down. It's all right. 1-0. First inning. The other starter in this ballgame, Chris Volstad, had some control problems early as he came out and had trouble throwing strikes in the first inning.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of pitches were up, and when he tries to get that sinker, he needs to keep it down. He had a little trouble with his curveball as well. There was the RBI base hit by Brian McCann. He had trouble throwing strikes there. But all of a sudden, he got a couple of calls. And you know what? They were calls that were in the strike zone, according to Fox Tracks. There was one strikeout, the pitch to Hayward. It's a high strike. But I'll tell you what, a lot of umpires don't call that strike, but that's a strike, especially when you're a big guy like Hayward.
So Volstad comfortably in the dugout. Ugla now with Cody Ross and Wes Helms to follow against Jurgens. He spins one up there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Ugla has homered in each game of this series. Now has 18 on the season, 58 RBIs. And a check swing is going to back Gloss up at first, and he flips to Jurgens in time to get the out. Jurgens looks overpowering right now. The Marlins have struggled against him in his career. He is 3-1 in 6 starts against the Fish.
You just haven't seen, and it just threw 4 hitters. You haven't seen any real solid swings in at-bats.
Here's Cody now. Ross an 0 for 3 night last night. A walk and a couple strikeouts. There's that high strike. It's going both ways. Cody a 1 for 2 night on Friday in this series.
It's been a tough homestand for Cody Ross. Cody hitting below 200 on the homestand, just a couple of RBIs.
Ball and 2 strikes. Obviously, on a Sunday, baseball breaking out all over the country. The Rockies and the Phillies are just getting underway in Philadelphia after the Phillies hammered the Rockies and Ubaldo Jimenez yesterday. Fly ball out to right. Hayward is in.
Yeah, I think Jim Tracy's certainly taking the approach that he should and not panic and say that Jimenez is human and all that. His last 6 starts, Ubaldo Jimenez has an ERA of 7.64, giving up 3 hits and 6 runs in 2 innings yesterday in Philadelphia.
Wes Helms getting the start at third base. Jurgens catches the corner with a strike. It's 0-1. It was a rough night last night defensively for Jorge Cantu. Cantu was 1 for 4. Helms has appeared in both games, and he's walked in both games as a pinch hitter. But he finds himself behind in the count 0-2. See what West gets 0-2.
You know, the odd thing, Rich, West has struggled where he performed so well last year, pinch hitting, 17 pinch hits last year. He has struggled as a pinch hitter, but when he has started games, he's hitting over 300. You know, a lot of those starts at third, but then a lot of starts during interleague play as the DH and third, mostly at third during interleague. But just 4 for 30 as a pinch hitter this year.
West staying alive. It's 1-2. And just 133. Of course, he and Ross Claude combined last year for a major league record number of pinch hits by teammates. That's low. It's 2-2. Hard hit ball. Gonzalez on to first in time. And Jurgens goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the second. Miami legend, long overdue, will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Shot from Cooperstown, the induction ceremony. Our Frank Ford is up there. We'll be filing a report. That ball's driven to deep right center field. Staten back to the wall, leaps up, and he did not make the catch. That's a home run.
Boy, had a lot of people fooled. It had Eric Hinske fooled. Hinske had to look out there a couple of times over his shoulder to see if Stanton caught that ball, but what an effort by the young right fielder. Leaping ability, getting to the point where he thought this ball was going to come down. And he didn't miss by much, just out of his reach. But he timed it perfectly. He just couldn't get there and get up high enough.
Yeah, our Fox Expo look shows that it was just over his glove, and it never hit his glove. But Hinske has homered, and it's 2-0. McCann, Gloss, and Gonzalez now to face Volstad. 11th home run that Chris has given up this year. Time called. McCann stepping out just as Volstad started his windup. Volstad gave up a run in the first, and the Braves left the bases loaded. It's out. Good sinker, caught the corner. It's 3-2. And McCann went fishing. Set up by that last pitch. Good run on the sinker, 1 to strike. But McCann went after it.
That's the thing about that sinker, and I think you can see the movement and how you can have success just with that pitch if you have command of it.
Troy Gloss now walked in the first. So Andre Dawson going into the Hall of Fame. There's a line smash that Helms catches. So there are 2 outs. Up comes Gonzo. Here comes Geico. This is something you dream of, but realistically never expect. I'm truly humbled by this honor. I don't know if I will have the words to do justice for what this means to me. Andre Dawson on being elected to the Hall of Fame.
I think it sinks in, and I have no idea, but when you see Hawk sitting up there on that stage with the likes of all the other Hall of Famers.
Volstad, after the home run, gets 3 outs, but Eric Hinske has provided the Braves with a 2-0 lead. Elected by a 78% margin on the ballots. Bert Blyleven just missed. So, I mean, if history holds, Tommy, next year, Blyleven and Roberto Alomar get in. Anybody else on that list do you think belongs to the Hall of Fame?
I think next year you're looking at the two that you mentioned, because those will be the holdovers, the ones we saw on that list. And the new ones that'll be eligible, I don't know if there is anybody that's going to be a first ballot. There isn't, really. But if you look at that list, there are some guys down the road, Barry Larkin, Jack Morris, perhaps.
Especially if Blyleven gets in next year, doesn't that open the door a little more for a guy like Morris?
Yes.
One name on that list that's interesting is Edgar Martinez, who's at 36%. And the other name to me that is interesting is Mark McGwire. The fact that McGuire's at 23%.
And a guy who was a teammate of Andre Dawson's, and at the same time, Ricky Henderson was doing his thing in the American League. Tim Raines was doing his thing in the National League. So there are a lot of guys, Lee Smith with all those saves, on that list that could someday find their way to the Hall of Fame.
Brad Davis still looking for his first big league hit. He was 0 for 3 in his first game. Drives it to center field, and it's over Cabrera's head, and it goes to the wall, and Davis is racing for third. Melky Cabrera misplayed that ball. We'll see if it ends up as an error or a triple.
I think I heard E8. But this ball, you've got to consider how hard it was hit. Yes, he misplayed it. Guys misplay balls all the time, and they're base hits. Guys misplay a ball when they go back on it, and a bloop drops in front of him for a base hit.
That ball hit the very tip of his glove. As you watch that replay on Exmo, and they're going to give him an error.
Now, that's too bad, because I think that could have very easily been ruled a base hit and would have been the first hit. That's been changed. No sooner did we get it out than it was changed to a triple. So congrats to Brad Davis, his first major league hit, and it was a rocket.
A bigger concern, though, is he's at third base. The infield is drawn in for Volstad. And Chris is behind the count 0-2.
That's unfair to be penalized that way when you see an outfielder take a step or two back, and then a ball drops in front of it.
My suspicion is that the official scorer watched our replay, watched the Exmo to see how close it came to his glove. And Volstad goes down swinging. It's going to be up to Chris Coughlin to get this run home here with 2 outs now. Because our initial look, you couldn't tell how much of the glove it got. But on Exmo, you could see it was the very tip. So here's Coughlin, who singled back in the first.
Never did Brad Davis ever think his first major league hit would be a triple.
There aren't too many guys that can say that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would venture to guess there are more guys that have their first hit in the big leagues a home run than a triple.
Yeah, I would agree, and I don't have that information in front of me, but I would agree with you, yeah.
Our crack staff, who's just waking up from last night.
That's a tough one for the crack staff so early.
Coughlin hits a fly ball left field. It sends Hinsky back, and he makes the catch. The Marlins don't get that run home, and it's still 2-0. On the 7th of August, post-game show with Cirque Dreams following a fireworks spectacular. Marlins and Cardinals at 7:10, and the Marlin fans get a samba whistle courtesy of New Era Cap. 1877 Marlins. Tommy, do you have a samba whistle at home?
Yeah, I use it as an alarm clock in the morning. I wake up the whole neighborhood.
You didn't replace it with a vuvuzela? Brooks Conrad swings.
And then I get out to the kitchen and I have the clappers already.
The thunder stick?
Thunder sticks. The neighbors hate me.
Is there a noise ordinance in your development? Volstad working on Conrad. He struck him out to finish off the first. Braves a run in the first, a run in the third. That didn't miss by much. You saw Conrad diving into the plate. Davis framed it. In fact, it didn't miss. That's a strike. And that's very similar to the Chase Utley stance. You know, Utley leans out. He's got his hands over the plate. And if a ball in the inner part, and if he backs off of it, it gives the illusion that it's inside.
I think umpires will tell you that's a tough call. That's a nice pick by Gabby Sanchez.
In the rain as it starts to fall here again in South Florida.
Tough call because you have to really focus on the strike zone and not the hitter and where he's standing.
AT&T trivia question. Add Andre Dawson's MVPs, Gold Gloves, and Silver Sluggers. What is the total? There's a strike.
I think you're looking at double figures, at least.
Obviously, the rain really coming down right now.
And the Marlins do not need a rain delay, knowing that they're going to, after this game, get on an airplane and fly all the way to San Francisco.
See the ground crew getting their final instructions. Volstad gets it. Chris flips on over to first. Now the umpires are aware. They're looking in towards the Braves dugout where the groundskeeper is. They'll look at the radar and tell the umpires, look, it's a passing shower or it's going to be this way for another 30, 40 minutes.
Well, and the other thing about any kind of a delay, if it's lengthy, then you lose Chris Volstad at this point and have to go into that bullpen.
Well, you might lose Jair Jurgens as well.
I think that Braves bullpen's a little better shape.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Here is Jurgens. No doubt Volstad has pitched in this growing up in Palm Beach Gardens, and no doubt Jurgens has played in this growing up in Curacao.
Yeah, Palm Beach Gardens High School. Number of games played when the weather has not been good.
Chris at 67 pitches. Nice opportunity to get through this fourth without a lot of pitches. And he's gone 2-2 on Jurgens. I would think that if the weather called for extended rain showers, they would have stopped it by now. And, ooh, man, Volstad thought he had a strikeout.
Come on, that's a pitcher up there, and it's raining.
And I think it's a strike.
Yeah, and it's a strike. Just missed.
Ugla picks it up, flips over to first.
Good inning.
Yeah, the Braves are done in the fourth. 1-2-3 for Volstad. We'll see how Jurgens likes pitching in the rain. crunch and pop some in your mouth. It's raining, but the Marlins and the Braves are still playing. Somewhere under there is one of our fine camera folk. That's right, those cameras. What do those run? John Sulzer, our producer. $150,000 to $200,000 a piece. Those cameras.
I think we've seen Craig and John Toohey too. We've seen a few guys. They're very good undercover cameramen. They do a good job. And I think we saw Joe undercover.
Got the raincoat going. Here's Gabby. Jurgens has been solid through 3. Gabby, Hanley, and Ugla here in the 4th. Gabby hits a high fly ball to right. And the Park will hold it. Hayward makes the catch. AT&T trivia question.
I'm going double figures. I'm going to say 11.
Well, if we get the phone back, we'll give you the question. Gold Gloves, MVP, Silver Sluggers. I'll go 17. 13.
Wow.
4 Silver Sluggers. I thought he won a few more Silver Sluggers.
And that's how you get your way to the Hall of Fame. See, when you're Hawk and you're sitting up on that stage and you have Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and Frank Robinson, Bob Feller, guys like that, Gary Carter, the Hall of Famers sitting behind you, that's when I think it would set in. And then all of a sudden you know and you realize you're a part of that club.
Well, I'll tell you what, the most powerful thing that I think happened to Andre Dawson, you see the Hawk right now getting acknowledged in Cooperstown. The most powerful thing is when Ryan Sandberg went in during his induction speech. This is what Sandberg said to everybody listening on national television. He said, Andre Dawson, the Hawk, no player in baseball history worked harder, suffered more, or did it better than Andre Dawson. He's the best I've ever seen, the Hawk. I watched him win an MVP for a last-place team in '87. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in baseball. He did it the right way, the natural way. And he did it in the field and on the bases and in every way. And I hope he will stand up here someday. That's pretty powerful stuff coming from his teammate, Ryan Sandberg. It's down low to Hanley.
When we had Hawk up in the booth, we got the feeling that he would, during the course of his speech, there would be some remarks toward Ryan Sandberg, his teammate with the Cubs.
Ground ball up the middle into center field. And a base hit. Of course, when Sandberg said that, Tommy, that was in 2005. I think that was before the Mitchell report. When did the Mitchell report come out? 06, 07?
Well, and in his reference saying he did it the right way.
In the natural way.
The natural way.
And that, we talked about McGuire having only 23% of the vote. There are some other guys that are coming online where you have to question how they'll be treated as well. Rafael Palmeiro is eligible in 2011. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, barring any comeback, are eligible in 2013.
That's when I think it'll be interesting, because then you'll have a 5 to 10 year period where those who are eligible will be those who were in the so-called steroid era and time. And so now you have to determine how are you going to vote on that.
Guys that play in the era are implicated just because of the inflated numbers, and guys that are actually implicated in terms of drug use.
And I think that
will affect them as well.
I think where it's going to be unfair is that there might be guys that get voted in that were never implicated because they just kind of slid under the radar.
That did use.
Yeah.
And the other inequity, of course, is a player whose numbers weren't as eye-popping as another guy that didn't use and gets overshadowed. Ugla goes after that 2-1 pitch. Nearly tore himself in two. It's 2-2. Jeff Bagwell, Larry Walker, Juan Gonzalez. So Palmeiro and Gonzalez, two guys that I think certainly will be looked at in that light.
And if not, you would have a lock in Palmeiro with over 500 home runs and 3,000 hits.
Full count. Hanley's at first. And Ugla walks. Jurgen seems to be having a little difficulty out there. The rain has stopped. The mound is still a little bit wet.
First walk issued by Jair Jurgens, who's pitched in his 9 previous starts. He's pitched a lot better at home. 3-0 with a 171 at Turner Field. And 0-3 on the road.
So you got Ugla at first and Hanley at second. Marlins stranded a runner at third last inning after the one-out triple by Brad Davis. And Jurgens looks clearly bothered by what's underfoot. Remember, he slipped on a dry mound.
I think sometimes what happens, you have one pitcher who's 6'8". His stride's in a little different area, a little different length, his landing spot. And then you have Jurgens, who's 6'1". And so there could be an effect that way.
Changeup didn't get the call. Looked like a pretty good pitch. It's 2-0. Bobby Cox staring in disbelief. Let's see where it missed. If it did. It didn't. And that's a pitch that Gary Cederstrom has called a strike in this game. Oh, Cody had his pitch to hit right there. 2-0 fastball.
Knew he was going to get the fastball. Yeah, last night, Marty Foster, who was behind the plate, had a good night. Every time we had a call that was questioned, we saw the Fox tracks, and he was right on.
Cody hits a ground ball into right field, base hit. Hanley round third. Coming home. Ugla hustling to third.
Boy, with the infield set for a double play, the second baseman, Martin Prado, shaded a little bit toward the bag. Because of that, Cody was able to take a good pitch down and away, didn't try to pull it, and was able to get it out of the reach of Prado. You can see that the track is a little wet out there. Hanley a little trouble with his footing as he rounded third, and the same for Dan Ugla as he went first to third.
Now Helms is up. The Marlins are within a run. Helms is digging in. West bounced to short. Back in the second. Braves have already turned to double play in the ball game. 0-1. Look at that. With runner on third and less than 2 outs. 4 for 4. But a ground ball up the middle won't get the job done. It could end the inning. Helms drives it into left center field. That ball's deep, and it is in the gap.
this year in that situation, found the gap. Not only drove that run in from third, but drove in Cody Ross, who was over at first base. Wes Helms in the lineup today at third base because Jorge Cantu has had some struggles. He's not swung the bat well. He had some defensive problems last night. So Wes in the lineup, and he comes through big time. As you said, a face full of mud over at third base. Way to go, Uncle Wes. As a starter, Rich, we talked about Wes Helms now hitting over 300 when he starts. He struggled in the pinch hitting role. As a starter now, he's 8 for 14 with runners in scoring position.
And the Braves were able to coax the grounds crew out to work on the mound. Jurgens talked about it and shown it this inning, not real happy. It's not raining that hard right now. But Jurgens is going to get some landscape work done on the mound. And they'll work on the home plate area as well.
You know, there are a lot of areas, and this just popped into my head. Things pop into my head all the time. A lot of areas that we have talked about where the club needs improvement. Obviously, you look at the bullpen, and you look at left-handed bats, you look at another left-handed arm. I think because 81 games and a lot of those 81 are played here in South Florida where it's very hot and it takes a lot out of it. That's why I think it's ever so important to have guys like Wes Helms, to have experienced guys come off your bench so you can get them in the lineup and give those guys a break, the guys that are in there every day.
Now I don't know if that's the trainer for the Braves or the equipment man is out on the mound now. And he brought out something to clean the spikes out.
It's usually the old tongue depressor. That's the, here we are in the modern age, and the best thing to clean dirt out of cleats is a tongue depressor.
Well, while we're on the subject of the Hall of Fame, the rest of the class going in. Whitey Herzog, 6 postseasons, world champions in 82 with the Cardinals.
Boy, he had those speedsters with St. Louis on that turf in 82.
Doug Harvey, 31 years in the game. Never attended umpire school.
He wrote the book on umpire schools.
And John Miller, who has been the voice of Sunday Night Baseball for so long.
You know what? We'll see John. We'll get a chance to congratulate him firsthand when we go to San Francisco. Obviously, the Sunday night TV voice, but also the voice of the San Francisco Giants.
Well, the Braves are going to walk Mike Stanton and go after Brad Davis. And remember, Davis tripled over the head of Melky Cabrera back in the third.
This is kind of interesting. I mean, they saw what Mike Stanton can do to a pitch. He hit that rocket. Chipper Jones described it as a missile to right field last night because Mike Stanton obviously is a guy you can strike out. He struck out in the third inning, 53 strikeouts. So that's what you're looking for with a man at third. What they're doing, they decided to walk Stanton, set up the double play.
All right, there's a lot of things that you can do here now. You can think about a squeeze. With Stanton, you can run. You can hit and run. So while the Braves are setting themselves up for a double play, it'll be interesting to see if the Marlins do anything to try to prevent that.
I think it's something you certainly have in the back of your mind, but the fact that Brad Davis swung the bat so well his first time up.
Jurgens goes over twice. Stanton has 3 stolen bases, and it's not an easy track to run on, as we've seen. Ball 1 to Davis, 1-0. Now, if Jurgens loses Davis, Chris Volstad is on deck, and that puts another variable in play here, the fact that Volstad is on deck. Davis had a good rip at that.
There's his third inning triple. Brad actually stunned this ball. Line drive fooled Melky Cabrera in center field. First major league hit, a 3-base hit. Now a chance to pick up his first major league RBI.
Stanton is running. Hit and run. Ground ball into right field. Base hit. Stanton turns second. He's on his way to third. And the Marlins being aggressive, trying to stay out of the double play. A rookie catcher delivers.
Well, what a nice day for Brad Davis. A little play on, a little hit and run. Open up a huge hole on this right side with the second baseman going over to cover second. No chance on this little chopper that finds its way into right field. It's another hit for Davis. It's an RBI, and it's another run for the Marlins.
Now Volstad's up, and there's a variety of things you can do here as well.
Now you can think a little more in the area of the squeeze.
Or just a flat-out
or a sacrifice.
Trying to move the runner from first to second, and if it's a great bunt, you never know. Stanton's at third. Volstad fouls it off. Joe Espada right now walking down the third baseline, pointing to Chris Volstad.
Well, there are two things you have to watch for as a runner at third. If the shortstop, Alex Gonzalez, if they don't have him coming over, and he shouldn't, he's got to stay around the second base area. Mike Stanton can come halfway down the line. He can follow the third baseman.
Volstad pops it up, and it's foul back behind the plate. Well, the key if you're Volstad then is you want Brooks Conrad to field the ball.
There used to be an old play that was taught, I can remember coming up in the minor leagues.
Drops it down. Jurgens going to throw to first to get the out.
Good news. Sacrifice complete. Chris Volstad got the runner over to second. But if you can drop down that bunt to the third baseman, then the runner can just follow him toward the plate. He can't throw to third base, nobody's there.
Right.
And if he picks it and throws to first, you can walk home.
The Tampa Bay Rays, one of those teams that uses that first and third bunt situation and do it so well. Coughlin now has singled and flied to deep left. Big at bat here. Second and third and 2 outs.
Now the Marlins saw the Braves drop an 8 spot on them last night in the 8th inning. Marlins like to drop a 6 spot on the Braves here in the 4th.
Coughlin drives that ball to center, but Cabrera looks up and makes the catch. The fish will have to settle for 4 in the 4th. Cody drives in 1. West drives in 2. And Brad Davis gets in on the act. The Braves, the grounds crew is out as well. They're tending to the bases, the mound, and the plate. And this, for Chris Volstad now, is a very important stretch. The ball club has come back to take a 4-2 lead. Volstad is sitting at 70 pitches. He's wobbled at times,
but he's retired 6 in a row after he gave up that home run to Eric Hinsky in the 3rd inning. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Important in a lot of ways. Pitch counts at 70. He's gotten a lead now, and it's to the top of the order. Back to the top of the order, 3rd time around for the Braves against Chris.
Prado, Hayward, and Hinsky coming to the plate. Phillies have a 2-1 lead over Colorado. In the 4th, Ben Francisco is homered for the Phillies. The Reds and the Astros just underway. The Nationals and the Brewers just underway. Later on this afternoon, the Mets are in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. Giants are in Arizona. The Giants are hot. They've won 3 in a row, and they send Tim Lincecum to the plate. Of course, it's Marlins and Giants tomorrow night.
Yeah, to start a 4-game series.
Prado has hit 2 missiles out to center field. Not Mike Stanton-like missiles, but they were still hit hard. And Cody Ross caught both of them and didn't have to move much for either of them. Pop-up. Davis tosses the mask. Helms takes charge.
Ah, that's good. Way to take charge, Uncle Wes.
Time to look forward at the Marlins schedule, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. San Francisco for 4, San Diego for 3. Ricky Nolasco against Barry Zito. Marlins Live starts at 10 o'clock. Late night with the Fish. Just as we look forward to the Marlins, you two can live forward with Just for Men Hair Color.
Hey, and a couple, Rich, not so late night, because we have a couple of earlier starts. Not Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday we'll have late night, little late night emails on Tuesday. Possibly a sweater vest as well.
I think it's being called Happy Hour Wednesday now.
Yeah, Wednesday, the Wednesday game.
It's a 4 o'clock start for us, a 7 o'clock start.
7:05 Eastern time. And the Thursday day game is 3:45 Eastern time.
Well, Volstad with 2 good pitches and 2 quick outs. And now here's Hinsky.
This is a guy he's had a little trouble with today, a single and a home run. Change up. Use that a few times today. Came back with a good fastball. It's been nice. Some struggles in the 1st inning for Chris Volstad. After that, he has thrown the ball exceptionally well.
Two and 2. Hinsky now with 8 homers. I don't think either the Braves or Eric Hinsky imagined him playing such a big role this year when they acquired him, more as a left-handed pinch-hitting guy, an occasional spot starter.
He had 8 home runs all of last year, splitting time with Pittsburgh and the Yankees.
Ground ball, Gabby has it. Nicely done. Chris Volstad goes 1, 2, 3 through the 5th. He's retired 9 in a row, and the Fish are up 4-2. going into the Hall of Fame. Cooperstown, New York. You see Andre Dawson's numbers. Gabby Sanchez, breaking ball for a strike.
And I've said it before, having been a teammate of Hawks for 3.5 years, very proud of that, and having had a chance to see him get a lot of those hits and home runs and track down a lot of balls in center field.
There has to be a little pride for you as well to see the Montreal Expos recognized.
I think it's nice. I think I understand why Andre wanted to go in with the Cubs hat, but you know what? He spent more of his career with the Montreal Expos.
0-2 pitch.
And you just can't forget about a franchise that was once a major league team. So Gary Carter and now Andre Dawson in the Hall of Fame as Expos.
2,774 hits for Hawk. Gabby reaches out, hits a soft fly ball, left center field. Closing is Hinsky, and he makes the catch. So here comes Hanley. We'll see how Jurgens reacts to that fourth inning, in which he looked like he was bothered by the footing beneath him, and then he got bothered by the Marlin hitters.
Well, Hanley got it all started with one out base hit.
Fastball that rises up. Are there other Expos in the Hall of Fame?
Gary Carter? Yeah, Gary Carter.
And he went in as an Expo, right?
As an Expo.
Larry Walker is eligible next year.
Yeah, he had the brunt of his career. I don't think it's a Hall of Fame career, a tremendous career, but the brunt of his career was as a Rocky.
Probably his best numbers as a Rocky.
Yeah, but came up with the Expos.
Now Ugla. I wish that baseball could find a way to have Hall of Fame Day and the Hall of Fame induction not in the middle of a Sunday when everybody's playing. I mean, here we are calling a game, which is great. It's a good game to watch. We're having fun. But wouldn't you love to be able to watch the whole ceremony, all the Hall of Famers, the speeches, John Miller, Doug Harvey, Andre Dawson? Isn't there a day or a time where they could have this ceremony and this show where people in baseball can actually watch it?
I guess the best choice would be sometime during the All-Star break.
The hard part there is that a lot of the Hall of Famers are at the All-Star.
Yeah, and are involved in a lot of things that the All-Star game puts on sometimes prior to the game. So that would be tough. But I agree with you. It's
but you and I are calling this game, and up here in the booth, we've got the ceremony on. We've got one eye watching it, waiting to see Hawk go up, and we're watching the Marlins lead the Braves 4-2. Or hold the ceremony at night, like 5 o'clock at night.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday. Games are over. No Sunday night game. Don't schedule a Sunday night game that week.
Just have 1 week.
Yep.
And it's gonna be light enough. So you could have the 15, 20,000 folks on the lawn at Cooperstown. It's a great, just a great atmosphere.
You were up there for Gary Carter's induction?
I had a chance. I was invited by Gary to be a part of his group as a good friend. We've been friends for a long time, so that was terrific. Going to the special dinner the night before that we were invited to. It's a great moment seeing all these guys. A lot of the Hall of Famers I was fortunate enough to play against, some as teammates. Don Sutton and I were teammates.
Whoa, Jurgens barking right now at Gary Cedarstrom. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Now the other guy's barking, Bobby Cox. Don Sutton and I were teammates in 1965 in the California League in minor league baseball.
I remember a newspaper clipping you showed me. Sutton and Hutton.
So
combined
guys like
for
that,
a win.
Teammates with Steve Carlton and Mike Schmidt in Philadelphia.
Three-two coming from Jurgens.
Fouls it back. Getting the chance, Rich, as a 20-year-old to be called up by the Dodgers in September, and for a month, teammates with Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale. So things like that are just special, and when I had a chance to see them firsthand at the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, just remarkable.
3-2. Struck him out. Jurgens punches out Ugla, who punts his bat over to the on-deck circle. 4-2 ball game. And the Marlins and the Cardinals, back to school day. First 5,000 kids, a Marlins catcher book bag, courtesy of AT&T. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game. 1-877 Marlins.
That's it. It looks like a chest protector, a catcher's chest protector, and you can use as a book bag.
A ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. Brian McCann, Troy Gloss, Alex Gonzalez, Chris Volstad gave up 2 runs through the first 3 innings. The Braves left the bases loaded in the first. But Volstad settled in after the Eric Hinsky home run. McCann was the first of 9 in a row that he's retired. Fly ball off field. Coughlin goes back. Track reaches and makes the catch. That is a terrific play by Chris Coughlin.
It was a play, Rich, I don't think he makes early in the year last year as he was learning a new position, adjusting to left field. But that ball was slicing away from him. Hit well by McCann. Concentration all the way, and Chris Coughlin kept his balance and put it away. The other thing about Chris Volstad, getting to this point of the game, the fact that he threw 30 pitches in the first inning.
Troy Gloss and then Alex Gonzalez. It will be interesting after the ball game to talk to Randy St. Clair and ask him, what did you tell Chris Volstad
after that walk to Gloss in the first?
If I were to guess, it would be throw the sinker and just throw it over the middle of the plate and take your chances with that. But we'll talk to Chris as well.
We'll have a long time to talk to him on the flight to San Francisco, too.
What was it, 6 hours to San Francisco? Are we stopping in Iowa for fuel again?
I believe we have a fuel stop somewhere. San Antonio, Austin. Oh, usually at a non-busy airport.
Drive to right center. No one's going to get that one. To the wall it goes. Gloss, in his younger days, may have thought about 3, but he's not moving real well. And so he settles for a double. And that snaps the streak of 10 retired in a row by Volstad.
Well, pretty good swing by Troy Gloss. He took that pitch away.
Number 2,
you could tell that Cody Ross knew right away he wasn't going to get to it. He just put his head down and was running to the gap where he knew he'd have to cut it off.
Volstad hits Gonzalez. Well, now things get a little sticky.
Up fastball. He wanted to throw on the inner part. It just ran inside and got Gonzo up on that upper left thigh.
Another visit from Randy St. Clair coming up.
Well, you also have decision time for Bobby Cox because you've got Conrad, then Cabrera, then the pitcher spot for the Braves. So it looks like there's a little scurrying around in the Atlanta bullpen.
Brooks Conrad, the big hit in yesterday's ball game in the 8th inning. Kind of a failure on a lot of areas for the Marlins defensively. Out of the bullpen. And the Braves took advantage of it. And Conrad's pinch hit grand slam was a crushing blow. He had a walk-off pinch hit grand slam earlier this year. Remember that ball that bounced off the glove of the left fielder and went over the wall in Atlanta. And he misses there, and he's gone 2-0 now.
Yeah, I can picture something that Randy St. Clair could possibly say, Jose Veras getting loose, to Chris Volstad when he went out to the mound. Unfortunately, he's fallen behind 3-0, but it could have been something like, hey, look, you have done a terrific job today. Don't let this inning get away from you.
Rain starts to fall again. Wind is picking up. Volstad's behind in the count 3-0, and he splits the plate with a fastball. 17,321 here on a Sunday. Over 30,000 last night. 19,000 on Friday night. Let's see what he hits. 3-1. Now they're loaded. And here comes Melky Cabrera. So a double, a hit batter, a walk. Cabrera has singled and bounced out. Rain getting worse. Cabrera stands in. Infield looks for a ground ball. Cabrera hits a fly ball to deep center. It's going to score a run. Cody goes back. Gloss will score. Gonzalez moves to third. And a sacrifice fly. Melky Cabrera delivers. Let's see what the Braves do with this at bat.
Well, with Moylan warming up, I would imagine, and a chance to tie the game or maybe go ahead, I would look for a pinch hitter. Looks like that's what Bobby Cox is going to do. No, it's not. It's going to be Jair Jurgens.
So I think Bobby Cox's bullpen, you said that the Braves bullpen is in better shape than the Marlins, but the Braves bullpen is not in good shape, which speaks to how the Marlins bullpen is right now. And so Cox wants another inning out of Jurgens.
Well, this is a real opportunity for Chris Volstad to get out of this situation.
Absolutely, and he has to go right after this guy.
Jurgens just 1 for 17 this year as a hitter.
And the lines went into the seats. Cover up, head for cover, or just get wet. Those are your choices. 1-1. Jurgens, a fly ball. Cody tracking, makes the catch. The Braves get one back. The Marlins keep the lead. 6 innings from Chris Volstad. Celebrate summer with the new Caribbean menu only at TGI Fridays. By Bluebell Ice Cream. Bluebell reminds you that July is National Ice Cream Month. Discover Bluebell's newest flavor, Caramel Kettle Crunch, and pops them in your mouth. And by The Other Guys, starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, in theaters August 6th. 4-3 Marlins, bottom of the 6th on a wet day. Our Coors Light freeze cam. Eric Hinsky's home run. Watch the leap and the try by Stanton. How close did he come? Looked like it was close there, but on Exmo Freeze It, it was a couple feet away. That helped stretch the Braves' lead to 2-0 early. The Marlins came roaring back with 4 in the 4th. Chris Volstad just gave up a run at the top of this inning. Tommy, look at the infield. You can see there are some areas that are getting really wet.
Yeah, right over there behind third base is pretty wet. Got some areas out by shortstop. You know, looking at that attempt by Mike Stanton, it was 2 feet over the fence. He had the first foot covered. It could have been a little bit lower.
Alex Gonzalez has been out there in these type of conditions before. That's for sure. So Bobby Cox wanted to buy another inning from Jair Jurgens. He had him hit with runners at the corners and 2 outs. We'll see if it pays off for the Braves. Cody, Wes Helms, and Mike Stanton. Cody had an RBI single in that 4th inning, and Helms followed with a 2-run triple. Cody way out in front of the breaking pitch, and it's 0-2. It's the area behind third base. Ground crew's done a nice job so far. There has not been a delay in this game. Jurgens strikes out Cody Ross. I think the ground crew and the umpires have done a nice job just keeping the flow, keeping this game moving. Here now is Helms, and his hit, arguably the biggest one of the day for the Fish. Gave the Marlins a 3-2 lead. Changeup from Jurgens misses low. Jurgens with 4 strikeouts, and he has walked 2. Wes had all that mud on the front of his jersey after that head-first slide. And that tripled. That's a detergent commercial waiting to happen right there. I mean, the pants are one thing. That's okay. It can be a little dirty. He's got a 2-tone jersey on. That's right. Beautiful. High pop-up. Cabrera. And Jurgens gets the first 2 outs of the 6th inning. Up comes Mike Stanton, the guy that the Braves walked intentionally back in the 4th. That's a big play, obviously a big run. It gave the Marlins their 4th run, but the hit and run with Stanton at first base on the move. Runner at third base at the time, and Brad Davis with a nice ground ball through the right side. Stanton fouls the pitch back, and it's 0-1. Change up off the plate. Count to 1-2. Marlins bullpen action. Jose Veras. The Marlins do have Veras, Hensley, and of course Leo Nunez at their disposal. But that's in a perfect world, and this has been anything but the last 2 games against the Braves. Two bullpen meltdowns from a myriad of pitchers in the last 2 games. The Marlins were able to escape on Friday with another Donnie Murphy miracle, but there was no escaping last night, an 8-run 8th inning.
Well, I think as it was put, the Marlins have been able to steal some games with some late heroics, last at bat heroics. I think a win today with the state of the bullpen, the way it's been, with Chris Volstad pitching for the first time since coming back. This would be somewhat of a steal today if they could hold on and win this game.
Yeah, long way to go, though.
I know.
4-3. Marlins. Hi, guys.
Tommy, how are you?
You know, we've been pretty good every day, every game about this time with a little bit of a lead, but the way things have gone, especially last night, we're a little on the edge of our seat, but we're okay.
Yeah, so far so good. Absolutely.
Most definitely. I mean, let's hope that the bullpen today, Veras, Hensley, Nunez, the ones that are available, can hold down the fort here in these last few innings.
Hey, Cookie, we can only speculate, and we have. And we wanted to get your opinion and yours too, Raul. What do you think Randy St. Clair said to Chris Volstad after that walk of Troy Gloss in the first inning? Because from that point on, even though he did give up the home run to Hinsky, he looked like a different guy out there.
The only way he could have told him was to throw strikes, make your defense work a little bit behind you. Don't try to do it on yourself. If you get behind all the time, you're going to get hurt. And the more consistent of a pitcher you're going to be if you get to 2 strikes on a hitter the quicker you can.
I think he also, I don't know if it's just, I don't know if you guys noticed as well, but ever since that moment, I think he started mixing in that sinker a lot more, using that pitch that is supposed to be his strength.
Well, and that's right, and that's what they wanted him to do. So I think he settled in, and really when you think about it, 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, as good as I'm sure Edwin expected today.
Most definitely. I mean, for considering what happened to him in that first inning, I'm surprised looking at the numbers. They look decent. They're good numbers.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good show.
And have a nice flight out there to San Francisco after the game.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Bring you some wins.
Hey, you know, we like to put our crack staff to work, and it is a Sunday, and it's a little tough sometimes, but came up with a pretty good sample size since 2000. You brought up the question, Rich. I wonder how many players their first hit was a triple in the major leagues. Well, since 2000, it's a higher number than I thought. 26 players had their first major league hit a triple. And Brad Davis, the second this year. Corey Aldridge of the Angels a couple of weeks ago had his first major league hit a triple. Now, 99 players since 2000, their first hit was a home run.
So there you have it. That's 3 times more likely to be a home run than a triple. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, guys, Brad Davis has been known as a catch and throw guy, which is a baseball jargon for not much stick for a catcher. .242 career hitter through his first 6 professional seasons. But a funny thing happened in his 7th season on the way to AAA. We got a full season in New Orleans. Started to hit .289, and Edwin Rodriguez saw that up close and personal. I was talking to the Marlins manager before the game. He said one thing he did, keep his hands back, really work on hitting the ball to right field, and he hit very well. Hit 8 homers, 28 ribbies. Brett Hayes has contributed 3 for 10 as the Marlins backup catcher. But getting a little production offensively is a bonus, and he's got 2 hits here, his first 2 big league hits and an RBI. So that work in the minor leagues paying off for Brad right here in the big leagues.
Hey, I got a question for both you guys, and it comes in the wake of what we saw last night and what we've seen today. And it involves Wes Helms at third base. It's a game where Helms is getting the start at third, a day where you might think, Cantu's getting a day off, but I think there's a little more to it. Do you think that Helms, from this point going forward, gets a little more time at third base?
I'll take it first. I think one thing Edwin's shown is he wants to play the guys off the bench, and if you're asking me, I would certainly give him a couple more starts. Jorge's been slumping a little bit, certainly at the plate, but when you're the combination of the defense and at the plate, you got to give Wes Helms a few more at-bats, and it'll help Wells off the bench, too. I think he should see some more playing time.
And I absolutely agree. I think we will see Wes a little bit more. I thought the interesting note on Davis, with a couple of things that Craig was saying, with Edwin Rodriguez having managed him this year, knowing your personnel, that's why he was able to put that hit and run on the second time at bat to get the base hit and the RBI. He knows his player, and he knew he was going to make contact.
And on that note, too, Tommy, look at guys. Jose Veras has succeeded here. Donnie Murphy has come through. The connection that he's had with the players, I don't think he's lost here. I think it's been a big factor in the guys feeling comfortable with the manager and also him knowing the roles of these guys. And for the most part, they've come through for him.
All right, Tommy, let's talk about Veras. Because remember, when he came back up from AAA, he was able to throw that changeup for a strike, and it just made everything else, the fastball and the breaking ball, look a lot better. He did not throw a lot of changeups the other night when he struggled in the 9th inning trying to close the game Friday night.
And he did not have command of his breaking ball, so that's where he got in trouble. He threw a couple of good breaking balls for strikeouts the last couple of outs, but overall didn't have the command of his secondary pitches.
It feels like a whole new game now. The sun has come out. They have cleaned up the field. Veras is in, and it's the top of the order for the Braves. I feel like we should do the lineups again. Prado, Hayward, and Hinsky. And Veras misses outside. Now let's cut to the quick. I mean, this is it for the Marlins. They have to get through this 7th and 8th. They were unable to do it on Friday. They were unable to do it last night. Ball and a strike. Prado an 0 for 3 day. 2 line outs to center.
There it is. Good breaking ball. He's a whole different pitcher. When he shows a hitter, he can get that over for a strike.
One-two coming. Got him. That's a big first out to get Martin Prado.
Good way to start. And we told you the Braves kind of sit and waiting for this position because they know the success they've had against the Marlins bullpen. Look at that this year. The Marlins bullpen against Atlanta, 7.86. Look at walks and strikeouts, 19 strikeouts, 21 walks. Just not good numbers. Get that off there. We had to show it to you, though, but just not good numbers for the Marlins against the Braves out of the bullpen.
Jason Hayward 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the first. And Veras misses outside with a breaking ball. That's a liner right back into center field. It's a good thing that wasn't about 10 feet lower, or it may have taken Veras out there with it. Full season ticket plans for 2012 in the Marlins ballpark. The new Marlins ballpark available for new customers. So choose from a variety of premium seating areas. Secure your seats in the new Marlins ballpark. So you don't have to be a season ticket holder. You can call as a new customer now. Call the new Marlins ballpark sales headquarters, 1-877-411-2012, and set up your appointment today. Even if you just have a curiosity about the new ballpark and about tickets, go down to that sales headquarters and take a look. Not only will you be able to see what's going on down there, but they'll have just an incredible display of what your seats will be like, the view from your seat in the new ballpark with very cool state-of-the-art animation.
By the way, that base hit of Hayward's extends his hitting streak, 9-game hitting streak.
Hinski's up, and he's been tough to get out today. He's 2 for 3, a homer and a single. Hayward is a threat to run. Barris chases him back. No swing. 3-0. Well, come on. Lost him. If Veras can't throw strikes, the Marlins are in really deep trouble, because the other guys in the bullpen, the Brian Sanchez who worked a scoreless inning, the Burke Badenhops, the Taylor Tankersley, they've got Jorge Sosa down there. They haven't used him yet.
And let me just answer this, because there's somebody at home saying, well, what about Nunez here in the 7th inning? You know what? You still have to have somebody pitch the 8th and the 9th inning.
Nate McLeod pitch runs at first. And here comes St. Clair. It's like Clay Hensley getting up. The other issue is this, too, Tommy. If Veras is extended here, and if Hensley works extended innings here, the Marlins are going to get to San Francisco, and they'll be flat out of gas in their bullpen. They're going to need Ricky and JJ to go 8.
That's the only little bit of good news, is that the first 2 starters in that series are Ricky Nolasco and Josh Johnson. But remember the last time for JJ, because he had 11 strikeouts, he couldn't get 7, 8 innings. So you like the fact that those 2 guys are starting the first 2 games of that series.
McCann. Oh. And it seems like whenever the Braves have needed a big hit to tie the game,
McCann's at the plate.
Absolutely. And look what the score is, and look who's at the plate.
Yeah, you get the feeling this guy bats like 8 or 10 times a game.
Now, Veras has fallen behind at 1-0, and looks like he's overthrowing on the mound right now. Hensley cannot get loose fast enough. One out, a ground ball can end the inning. Three and 0. There's a strike. McCann's going to be sitting on him.
You know what? He knows what's coming. And he's going to be sitting on that middle-in fastball.
And it seems like every time he's been in this spot, he just crushes the ball. Did it on Friday with the 3-run homer and an RBI single and another RBI single yesterday. Here's the 3-1. Oh, wow.
Well, he just missed the call there, Gary Cederstrom. He's not had a good day. He's been inconsistent. He's had Bobby Cox chirping. He's going to have us chirping right here.
Oh,
that's a strike.
man.
That's a strike. Now, I know that Veras has been all over the place, but you still got to call a strike a strike.
Wow. Here comes Edwin. Is he going to make a change? He is. And it's a double switch. Bonifacio's coming in. So is Hensley. And the Marlins right now have the lead. But it sure doesn't feel like it. Here's a Maroney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Maroney!
There is one out. Emilio Bonifacio comes in the ballgame. He'll hit in the 9th spot, which is due up second in the bottom of the 7th. And Clay Hensley is summoned early out of the pen. Hensley will face Troy Gloss.
And the tough part about Clay Hensley, he has not been as sharp as he was early in the year. He still managed to come in and most of the time do a pretty good job. But now you're expecting to get an inning and 2/3 out of Clay Hensley because you still have the 8th inning and the 9th inning.
Gloss has walked. He's lined out. He's doubled. So he's had good at-bats in this ball game. Bases filled with Braves. Infield is back for 2. Hensley delivers a strike. And it's 0-1.
Boy, and you do have a guy up there, if he hits a ball on the ground, that can hit into a double play.
Breaking ball. Wow, that missed.
And Gloss does lead the Braves in grounding into double plays.
Fox tracked. Let's see if it did miss. Just off the plate. It was better than the first pitch. One. Hensley's outside, and it's 2-1. That would be Hayward. That's McLouth pinch running for Hinsky and McCann. Big pitch here. Ground ball. Helms has it. Flip. Ugla. Got one. Got two. 5, 4, 3.
11 double plays that Troy Kloss has grounded into.
The Marlins still need 6 more outs, but they get 2 enormous ones here. A little bit of everything in this series and today as well. 7th inning stretch, the Marlins and the Braves. The Marlins bullpen wobbling, but Clay Hensley getting a huge ground ball. 4-3, Marlins still on top. And Wes Helms playing third base, the guy that started this double play.
Well, remember, Wes a lot of times comes in for defense. Watch how he has to move to his left. Gets a pretty good jump. Goes a ways and picks it. Once he picks it, it's pretty routine 5-4-3 because Kloss doesn't run well at all. So that was just tremendous to get those 2 outs and to also get the 2 outs without having Hensley throw a lot of pitches.
Well, that's another discussion. Jurgen stays in for the Braves. Hensley threw 4 pitches. I'm gonna throw this out there now before we even get there.
Okay.
And that's this.
Kind of like the way we threw out the Anibal Sanchez thing last night.
Say this happens. Say Hensley goes out to pitch the 8th, and he gets 15, 20 pitches in. He gets an out, and there's a couple runners on. Would the Marlins even consider having Leo Nunez come in and get the final out or 2 in the 8th and then try to pitch the 9th?
I don't know if they'll consider it, but they should. I don't care if you say Leo Nunez is my closer and he's only a 9th inning guy. I think there's a time or 2 during the course of a year you have to do that. He hasn't pitched in a while. He should be healthy and ready to pitch more than just 1 inning. So yeah, I would consider it.
So you'd think the Marlins going into the 8th have Hensley and possibly Nunez. But we'll see. Davis pulls one foul. Big day for Brad Davis. His first big league hit, a triple in the 3rd, and then a hit and run RBI single in the 4th.
For the last couple of years, he's only gone more than 1 inning twice.
Well, Jurgen's still out there. 98 pitches. He misses down low.
Boy, what a nice day it's been for Brad Davis. He's done a good job behind the plate. Peter Moylan up again. and he's got himself his first 2 major league hits.
He's caught looking here to open up the bottom of the 7th. Our Toyota trend. Toyota always looking forward. Atlanta's winning percentage against the East is the best in the division. Florida just a few ticks behind him and 2 games over 500. See, Bobby Cox puts the catcher's glove on anytime a lefty bat gets up there. And it's Bonifacio in the double switch. Chops down a bunt. Jurgens quick throw and just got it.
Well, that shows you how fast Bonifacio is. Wasn't the greatest of bunts. Back to the mound. Jurgens with a terrific play. A lot of pitchers don't make this play because a lot of pitchers can't get rid of the ball as quickly as Jurgens just did. And in order to do that, that's how he got Bonifacio by half a step.
Coughlin now his 4th time up against Jurgens. Six strikeouts, 2 walks for the native of Curacao who grew up idolizing Andrew Jones. Coughlin smokes one on the ground. Prado has it, flips on over to first in time. Strong effort by Jurgens. He gives Bobby Cox 7. Go to the 8th. How about a rookie catcher getting his first big league hit? This turned into a triple. And then he came up in a big spot. Runners first and third. Hit and run. Now look at the execution. Drives in a run. Brad Davis. Big day. Here's Hensley now. And here is the ever elusive 8th inning for the Marlins pen. Alex Gonzalez, Brooks Conrad, and Melky Cabrera. A liner to Helms. There's an out. And Hensley has thrown all of 6 pitches.
That was a liner, but he did have Gonzalez fooled. He was back out front of that pitch a little bit. Didn't hit it all that sharply. So far, so good here in the 8th.
This is like one of those, you know, when you go to one of those action horror thriller films and you know something's right around the corner and you're just not sure when it's coming?
Yeah, you don't know whether to close your eyes or not,
Yes.
or leave the room.
Don't open the closet. The shower curtain. Don't pull it back.
No, I don't think he's dead. I think he's still alive.
That one is pulled foul. And the Marlins bullpen has had its moments. Up until a few days ago, the Marlins bullpen had a very good
They
July.
had a stretch of 22 consecutive scoreless innings.
Absolutely. Guys were pitching well. Veras was outstanding. Nunez solved his issues on that road trip. Hensley was back to being the Clay Hensley we saw in the early part of the season. But it's just the last two nights, man, have put the fear of you-know-what in the Marlins. Seeing the Braves come marching back on Friday and erasing that big lead. Marlins ended up winning that game. And then last night, a 5-2 lead. Cruising into the 8th. And 3 relievers give up 8 runs. So here today, Hensley bails out Veras, who walked 2 and gave up a single. Outside corner. Clay Hensley drops the hammer on Brooks Conrad.
All of a sudden, he's got the changeup. He's got the curveball. He's got the ability to spot that fastball. Everything's falling in place for Hensley in this appearance.
Melky Cabrera. That's a strike. Cabrera has singled, has a sacrifice fly.
Boy, the other thing, you want to get this out because on deck's the pinch hitter, and that pinch hitter is Chipper Jones.
Plus, if you can get this out, you start the inning 9-1-2 in the 9th rather than 1-2-3. Hensley runs that pitch away, and it's 2-1. That one had a good run on it as well.
See, that good changeup just goes down, moves away. Thinking about it because we saw him the other night, it's a Chris Medlin type changeup.
2-2 fastball is up. Three-2 coming from Hensley. Lined into right center field. Racing forward is Bonifacio. And he'll pick it up. Cabrera cruises into second, and here we go. Here comes Chipper, and the tying run's at second.
Well, you have a choice to make. You got a couple of choices. Good play by Bonifacio to cut it off. If he doesn't cut it off, Cabrera's at third. You got 2 choices. You either walk Chipper, but then you go after a guy who's second in the league in hitting, Martin Prado, or you waste some time, get this guy ready, and have Nunez go after Chipper.
Here comes Randy St. Clair out to the mound. So Hensley, leaders of the game brought to you by JM Lexus. Active leaders. Chipper's got 433 of them.
And we've talked about it, 39 of those against the Marlins.
Nunez looks like he is just about ready. And if Hensley were to walk Chipper, you may go after Prado, not with Hensley, but with Nunez. So here we go. Buckle up.
I think we've said that the last 3 nights.
There's a liner in the left center field, and the Braves have done it again. Chipper Jones, RBI double. It's 4-4.
Well, I forgot the third choice. Lay a mistake pitch up there and let Chipper Jones double in the tying run. think it was a changeup. Wasn't a good one because it was up. And Chipper Jones has that ability to stay back and find those gaps. He's done that for a long time.
Do you leave Hensley in to face Prado?
Well, if you leave him in to pitch to Chipper Jones, you do. I say that sarcastically.
Outside corner.
Now you almost really have to, though, because it's a tie game. And you don't know how long the game is going to go.
Well, here's the other factor. If you bring Nunez in, his spot is due up 6th, starting in the bottom of the 8th.
I just think the fact now that it's a tie game, you just can't do it.
Ugla's got it. Fires to first. The Braves have done it again. They've come back and tied the game. To the bottom of the 8th we go. 4-4. Fish and Braves. Of this series on Friday night.
Yeah, in his career against the Marlins, over 30 innings and an ERA in the 2s, so they've seen him a lot.
And it was Gabby Sanchez. This is pitch by pitch of that at bat.
Good fastball, slider away. Now he tries the slider, but he didn't get it away. And Gabby, with a really nice swing, stayed on that pitch. And that was with 2 strikes. He had a great swing.
Gabby, Hanley, Ugla against Moylan. Gabby trying to bunt.
Well, he realizes it's a tie game. He's just trying to get on base. He saw the third baseman, Conrad, way back.
Changeup.
To me, Gabby would be a hard hitter to defend, especially in the outfield. Because he'll hit a ball to right center. He'll hook a ball every once in a while down the left field line.
Hooks it. Foul. 0-2. Well, you got to think that fresh in Moylan's mind is that hanging slider. And if he does go slider here, 0-2,
he's going to just try to bury it off the plate away. Like that. That's the old emergency swing just to get a piece of it.
In case of emergency, break glass and just get a piece of it. And he did. Oh-2 is out. Nunez continues to throw in the Marlins pen. So it looks like
you'll see Leo in the ninth.
He's coming into the ninth. Oh man, what a great at bat. Hayward picks it up. Gabby Sanchez has had big hit after big hit in this homestand, and he drives one into right field to get this inning going.
Not only would he be tough to defend, he's tough to pitch to. You know, you make a good pitch away. Remember the slider he hit for the home run. This is a sinker that kind of came back over the plate, but it was down, and Gabby doesn't try to do too much with it. The line drive gives him an 8-game hitting streak now.
No, here's Hanley. 1 for 3 in this one. Three hits in the series. Hanley trying to bunt, and he fouls it back.
And I would assume on his own.
Yes, I would too. Hanley 3 for 11 against Moylan in his career. Moylan's out in front of him 0-2. 17 games without an extra base hit, the longest drought in Hanley's brilliant but brief career. Sends a soft fly ball that's foul. And Tommy, you and I have seen him play every game in a Marlins uniform. We've never really seen a stretch like this where all of a sudden he's not driving the ball.
Yeah, the swing is long. We don't see that pop into the gaps where he'll hit doubles. Or staying back and even driving a ball down the right field line into the corner for extra bases.
Remember, that's Gabby at first. 0-2 coming to Hanley. Down low. That's a pitch that...
I'm guessing on Fox Tracks that's a strike.
That's a pitch that Bobby Cox has been barking about, and he just tore his hat off again. Well, you know what? It's actually below the line. That's pitch number 4. But boy, is that close. That was a changeup from Moylan. Here's his 1-2. Got him. Strikes out Hanley. Now you got Ugla coming up. Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Dan Ugla knocking this one out of the park from Chris Medlin. A changeup that wandered inside. Medlin, a completely different animal than Peter Moylan.
Yeah, Peter Moylan is the type of right-hander the right-handed hitters have nightmares of because of his delivery. Not a comfortable at bat for a right-handed hitter.
a no to Ugla. Struck out, walked, and bounced out. Has homered in each game of this series except this one.
Now, we have seen on occasion Gabby Sanchez steal a bag. He's 4 for 4. But his stolen bases are mostly in the surprise opportunity. You know, right now, he's getting a close look by the Braves.
The element of surprise is not there.
No.
Ugla fouls it at the plate. Though Moylan does take a while to get to the plate. I mean, when you are a submariner, sidewinder, and a big guy, and Moylan qualifies in all those categories, to get turned and down and come through takes a while.
Yeah, it's also a slow track, though, too.
Goes down swinging. So Moylan strikes out Hanley, strikes out Ugla. Here comes Cody.
This is also where, when you manage, there's a good slider away against the Marlins, and you have that right-hander like Moylan, you can just lay him out there and not worry about it because you're going to see nothing but right-handed hitters. If you had a lefty or two mixed in, it makes it a little different for that opposing manager. But the Marlins don't have that.
And a first pitch fastball right down the middle. Way out in front. And Moylan doing what he does best. Get right-handed hitters off balance. Speed the bat up. '53rd appearance. Second in the majors. Pedro Feliciano of the Mets, 55.
Time's been called. I'm not going to throw it.
See, now's when you're supposed to use the boomerang line.
I got it out there too early in this series. I should have known. He usually pitches in every game.
Moylan's out in front, though, 0-2. Pitch out. One and two. McCann really almost gave that away too soon. He was crouched up and hopped out as Moylan went into his windup. Down he goes. Well, that's impressive. Moylan gets Hanley, gets Ugla, gets Ross. So Leo Nunez will try to keep it at 4-4. Marlins and Braves. This copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Here's the situation. It's a 4-4 game. Leo Nunez, the Marlins closer, is in. The Braves bullpen a little more rested and a lot less extended in this game. You can see they've got a pair of arms getting ready. Nunez gets Jason Hayward, Nate McLeod, and Brian McCann. And a strike.
And so, as you and I were talking between innings, given the fact that Nunez is the second hitter, you know you're just going to get an inning out of him. If the Marlins are able to hold the Braves here and are not to come back with another remarkable walk-off, then what direction do you turn when you look into the bullpen?
Number 24,
have no idea, and at this point, you're just going out to out. The Marlins have used Veras, they've used Hensley, and Nunez now faces McLeod. Remember, he pinch ran for Hinsky. That was in the 7th inning. In the 7th inning, Jose Veras came in relief of Chris Volstad. See Wagner and Saito. And Veras gave up a single and then walked 2 men before Edwin came and got him. Hensley got a double play grounder to get out of the inning and protect a 4-3 lead. Hensley got the first 2 outs of the 8th, and then back-to-back doubles by Melky Cabrera and Chipper Jones tied the game. Didn't miss by much. And it's 2-0. Actually, it didn't miss at all.
Been a inconsistent afternoon for Gary Cederstrom behind the plate.
There's a strike for Nunez. Coming. Got a break. McLeod went up after a pitch out of the zone. Two to McLeod. Ground ball, Ugla. Backhands, plants, gets him. Nunez has 2 ground ball outs. Now he has to get McCann and give the Marlins a shot in the bottom of the 9th. And look who's getting loose. Donnie Murphy. As Tommy pointed out, we were discussing between innings. It's Helms, it's Nunez's spot, then Brad Davis. And so the Marlins have, as pinch hitting possibilities, Murphy, Cantu, Paulino. A strike. McCann walked in the 7th. He was the last man that Veras faced. RBI single back in the 1st. He's driven in 6 runs in this series. He had 4 on Friday night. Almost came back and caught the plate. Two and 1. You see the shift from McCann. That's Hanley behind second. 3-1. We've seen just about every type of weather you can get here during the course of this ball game. Bright sunshine right now. We've had rain, had some good wind going on. A little overcast. Now the brilliant sunshine. Diaz is going to trot in, and he's going to run from the can. And remember, the Braves did their damage in the 8th after 2 were out and nobody was on. The Cabrera double, then the pinch RBI double by Chipper. Here is Gloss. Runner goes. Davis's throw. He is out at second base. Uggla with the tag. Brad Davis throws out Matt Diaz. And the Marlins get to the bottom of the 9th. And this game is still tied.
This just sets the stage. Gotta be kidding me. Why not, Donnie Murphy?
What a week. Unbelievable. In the course of 5 games, from Monday through Friday, the Marlins had 3 walk-off wins. Donnie Murphy was the hero in 2 of them. Murphy is ready if needed in the Marlins dugout. 4-4, Wes Helms, pitcher's spot, and right now Brian Peterson is on deck, and then Brad Davis. So it's the bottom of the order, and it's Takashi Saito who comes in to take over for Moylan.
Well, the Marlins have seen Saito in this series. Talked about him the other night, 40 years old, still throws pretty hard. Misses, though, with that breaking ball.
Saito's numbers, long and great career in Japan. Closer when he first came over. David Ross is behind the plate.
Yeah, Takashi Saito, 24 saves in 06 with the Dodgers, 39 saves the next year.
I would suspect the Braves double switched, and Saito is in the cleanup spot, and Ross is in the 9 spot.
That was the move indicated by the home plate umpire, Gary Cedarstrom. Yes.
Helms checks himself and steps back in. Count 2-1. Jorge Sosa is next in line. Look at the outfield alignment. They're playing Helms to right center. His triple was to left center.
There's a pretty big gap in left center where he hit that triple.
That triple was against Jair Jurgens, who throws hard as well.
Sometimes you'll see an outfielder shift a step or two to the opposite field when a hitter gets 2 strikes on him.
Full count. Helms trying to get on base. Three-two coming. Struck him out, and Helms knew it. The last 4 hitters the Marlins have sent to the plate have been sent back to the dugout on strikes.
Well, the last thing you're thinking, you don't think Saito's going to drop in that slider on a 3-2 pitch. It wasn't even a great slider, but it was a pitch that certainly fooled Wes Helms.
Peterson now. Bryant, of course, delivered a 2-run pinch hit single earlier in this series. Ground ball. Prado had him played nicely and just in time to get the out. That's exactly where he hit the ball the other night. Prado looked like he made an adjustment, was over a few steps.
Yeah, he did. He was playing in almost the way you play a Ryan Howard, Brian McCann type, a dead pull hitter.
So Davis with 2 outs, tripled in the 3rd, RBI single in the 4th, struck out in the 7th. Saito gets a strike.
Come on, Davis.
Saito gets ahead. 0-2. Saito thought it was strike 3. Ross thought it was strike 3. And it wasn't. It was off the plate. And now Saito has to collect himself.
Cedarstrom may not like that move of Ross's.
Got him. Saito goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the 9th, and the Marlins have to turn this game over to Jorge Sosa now. Extra inning ball game now. 10th inning, 4-4. Braves and Marlins. One of the big moments in this ball game, Clay Hensley against Troy Gloss with the bases loaded and 1 out. A 5-4-3 double play that protected at the time a 4-3 Marlins lead. The Braves would get a 2-out pinch hit double by Chipper Jones to tie the game in the 8th. The Marlins have run through Veras, Hensley, Nunez, and with a depleted bullpen, it's Jorge Sosa who comes out to pitch the 10th.
You know, Sosa's been with the club being recalled again, but hasn't pitched in quite some time. And ironically, a guy who probably had his best year as a major leaguer with the Atlanta Braves in 2005. In 05, Sosa was 13-3 with a 2.55 ERA. 44 games, 20 of those as a starter.
Braves have Gloss, Gonzalez, and Conrad. And Sosa misses up. Sosa was designated for assignment by the Marlins on June 21st. Ended up back in New Orleans and has ended up back in the big leagues. Marlins brought him back on the 21st earlier this week. And he's 1-2 on Gloss.
Yeah, that was his last appearance with the Marlins. That was a loss to Tampa and then back in the minor leagues.
He comes in and dusts off Troy Gloss. So a good start for Sosa.
Number 2, shortstop, Alex Gonzalez.
Kept the ball down, good stuff. Got a good hitter.
Now Gonzalez, who lined out his last time up. Another good pitch. Ugla fighting the sun. Makes a catch. Brooks Conrad coming up.
Well, a couple of quick outs for Jorge Sosa. Sosa spent some time with the Rays, with the Braves. As I mentioned before, St. Louis, the Mets. Last year, some time with the Nationals.
Conrad getting the start today at third base. Braves have gone into their bench a bit, using Chipper. Ross is in. Diaz has come and gone. McCann is gone. Hinsky is gone. So the Marlins probably have a deeper bench right now, but the Braves have the deeper bullpen. Cody. That is a 1-2-3 inning from Jorge Sosa. Bottom of the 10th, 4-4 still. van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONIE. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. By 5-Hour Energy, an hour of energy now, no 2:30 feeling later. Visit 5hourenergy.com. It's a 4-4 game in the bottom of the 10th. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, thank you, Rich. This is the 5th time since Monday that the Marlins have had a lead after 7 innings and blown it. Now, of course, the good news has been they've had 3 walk-off wins, and only one time in their history have they had 4 walk-off wins in 1 week. And that was back in 1998. The Heroes, Todd Zeile twice, Edgar Renteria, the former Brave as well, and Todd Zeile, and then Todd Dunwoody. It was against the Blue Jays twice, against the Mets twice. That was June 8th to the 14th of 1998. 4 walk-off wins in 1 week.
If the Marlins are going to do it here, Craig, they're going to have to do it against Johnny Venters, the good young lefty, whom they saw last night. Bonifacio, Coghlan, and Sanchez for the Fish. Bonifacio up the middle. Prado gets him.
You know, Craig, bringing that up in 1998, now that I think about it, I think that was the best week of the season.
Here's Coghlan now. Venters, you don't hear his name in any of the Rookie of the Year discussion, but he's having an outstanding year, and he probably merits some consideration.
Hard for a guy who's, not a closer, just a guy who comes in 7th innings or so.
Opponent's hitting just 174 against him.
He also may have to serve a little suspension. He's going to have that try to appeal it.
He's the guy that hit Prince Fielder after the warnings were issued. The Braves hit Prince Fielder twice in that last series.
And I believe he was given a 4-game suspension, but he's going to have that hearing, I think, next week.
One coming. Coghlan, little looper out in the shallow left, and it drops for a base hit.
Soft serve, just like that ice cream you like, Rich.
Coghlan is aboard. You know, the one thing that the Marlins have going here, as Coghlan dumps it in, they did get to see Venters a bit last night. And Gabby is up. He is 1 for 4.
You know, you do have that hit and run possibility, but you have a guy up there who's been swinging the bat really well. And sometimes a hit and run, if you get a pitch that's not a strike and he has to protect the runner, you kind of take the bat out of his hands.
There's Chavez in the bullpen. As well, Tommy, you've got a lefty on the mound whom the Marlins aren't all that familiar with in terms of his move to first. So if you're Coghlan, you'd like to see a few moves over before you think about trying to run.
From what little we've seen of Venters, it's not a great move to first base.
Gabby had a good cut. Ball and a strike. Gabby Sanchez has done so well in so many spots, but look at this. In the National League, when close and late, Coghlan, Braun, Votto, Gabby.
Ryan Braun, a game winner last night.
Got good speed at first, so a ball in the gap could end it. That runs in. And it's 2-1. Count evens now 2-2.
I think if it gets to 3-2, then you can send Chris Coghlan on a 3-2-1 out pitch. think that's the best of the best.
Venter's best move is a quick move to the plate. Gabby, a ground ball up the middle. Prado and out there, and the flip over. They got the double play. Martin Prado with help from Troy Gloss to the 11th. Braves, and so here in the 11th for the second inning, the Marlins are hoping that Jorge Sosa can hold the Braves down. As we told you, the Braves bullpen good, deep, and probably better rested than the Fish. They still have their closer, Billy Wagner, they can go to. Bobby Cox and the Braves sitting pretty right now at 57 and 40. The Marlins need a win here to get out of this homestand at 7 and 3 and get back to 500.
There's Billy Wagner. We saw him loosening a little bit earlier. But he's just trying to keep the juices flowing.
Melky Cabrera had a big hit in this ball game with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and the Marlins up 4-3. He knocked one in the gap in right center for a double. Chipper Jones then pinch hit. This was against Clay Hensley. And the first pitch that Hensley threw, Chipper hit to the wall in left center. And the game was tied. Sosa's first appearance since being brought back up on the 21st here in July, after he was designated for assignment in June.
That's the one thing in Sosa, you have a fresh arm out there.
Sawed him off. Ugla makes the catch. He's retired all 4 that he's faced, and none of the 4 have really had a real good swing or really squared one up. David Ross now with Martin Prado on deck. Ross into center field, base hit. And the Braves have a base runner with an out here in the 11th.
Even that wasn't struck sharply. It almost sounded like a broken bat.
Prado opened the day by hitting 2 liners out to center to Cody Ross, and is 0 for 3 since, so an 0 for 5 day. Ground ball by the diving Helms into left field. Coughlin picks it up. And now Sosa has to face Jason Hayward with runners at first and second.
That's the thing about Prado. He's an over, but you're not going to keep him down too often and too long.
It took a wicked hop.
West was there and watched the ball take that hop over his glove. It's tough to make an adjustment when you're laid out in that diving position.
Remember, the Marlins have a guy out in right field who's not real experienced out there in Bonifacio. Sosa comes in with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
But you also don't have much speed at second base running in David Ross.
Hayward ground ball into right field, charging is Bonifacio. Picks it up, Ross is held. Oh, what a play by Bonifacio. He looked like a seasoned right fielder there. A one-hop strike. The bags are loaded, and here comes McLeod.
Now, all of that good news, except for the fact the bases are loaded now with one down. But you're right, Bonifacio, when we saw him play for a time in center field, he charges balls well, gets a good jump, and he has a strong arm. And he did all of that, get that ball in quickly. And Brian Snitker, the third base coach from the Braves, taking no chances and sending Ross. Also knowing that he has McLeod coming up, but then it's the pitcher spot.
Omar Infante has pulled in on deck. Corners in, middle halfway. And now they're going to back up the middle, back up for two.
Tough guy to double up because McLeod runs very well. A guy who has just absolutely struggled most of the year.
And a lot of pressure on Davis. Sosa's fallen behind 2-0. Billy Wagner getting ready. Braves trying to take the lead here in the 11th. Fastball on a hop, might be two. Uggla's turn, they got two.
Oh, a tough guy to double up. He hits a one-hopper and a sure double play.
Unbelievable. 6, 4, 3.
How bad is his year going?
hits it right to Hanley.
Well, it has been just a horrific year for McLeod. He can't do anything right. Hitting 168 on the season. Actually hits this ball extremely hard, but right to Hanley Ramirez. The flip, the touch, the plant, the exchange, and the throw. 6-4-3 double play, just what Jorge Sosa ordered. I had to talk in X mode too.
It's a nice touch. Marlins going to see a new chucker out there. Johnny Venters, after his scoreless inning, gives way to Jesse Chavez. Will double switch. Omar Infante is going to come into the ball game, and Chavez will go into the spot that just came up, McLeod's spot. And that will put Infante in the 4 spot. He's due to lead off if this game gets to the 12th. Hanley takes a strike from Chavez. Chavez threw an inning last night, and he was perfect. 3 up, 3 down. He got Hanley on a sharp shot up the middle. Actually hit one of Chavez's foot, or one of his feet, and it bounced over to third. Hanley sprays it into right field. That's a base hit. And the Marlins in business. They've got speed aboard at first with nobody out.
You know, Rich, we talked about it last night, Hanley's approach. Clearly, he's making an effort to keep himself back, trying to hit a few balls the other way to come out of this thing. And so for back-to-back games now, he has 2-hit games. He had 2 hits in the ballgame last night, 2 for 5, and a couple of base hits today. So just the guy you want on, Hanley with 20 stolen bases to get things started here in the 11th.
Ugla now. Chavez chases Hanley back. A strike to Ugla. The Braves bullpen has been outstanding. This is the 4th man over the top rope. Moylan, Saito, and Venters have all worked scoreless innings. Ugla liner into right field. That's a base hit. Hanley on his way to third. Up with the ball is Hayward. First and third. And nobody out. And Cody Ross coming up.
Boy, how about that approach by Dan Ugla? He was just saying, put the bat on the ball, get a base hit. If Chavez is going to keep me away, not let me pull the ball, I'll do just that. And it's only fitting that the Marlins score and win this game right here because Andre Dawson's acceptance speech has just completed.
Braves are going to load the bases. With Wes Helms on deck.
Well, you have Wes Helms, and then you have the pitcher spot. And guess who's getting ready?
So Helms is going to come up. Donnie Murphy is on deck. The bases are loaded, and there's nobody out. Helms, the former Brave, is 1 for 4. A 2-run triple is that one. Back-to-back singles by Hanley and Ugla.
Well, you're right. A couple of big RBIs back in that 4th inning. He'd like to get just 1 here. That's all he needs.
You can see the Braves outfielders as we show you the infield, which tells you how shallow they are. Hanley's at third. Ugla's at second. Ross is at first. Helms against Chavez.
Well, they're exceptionally shallow because Hanley's the runner at third, too.
Helms fouls the first pitch off his foot.
The rule of thumb, if you play your normal position and you catch a fly ball and you can't throw the runner out going from third to home, there's no sense playing there if that's the winning run.
Ground ball, base hit, ball game, walk-off. A week of walk-offs for the Marlins. Helms ends this one. And the Fish outlast the Braves, take the series, and go 7-3 on this all-important homestand.
You talk about stealing games. The Marlins have stole a few. They've broken a few hearts on this homestand, but a 7-3 homestand, and as you pointed out, Rich, a week of walk-offs. It's been spectacular.
South Florida Ford Spotlight on Wes Helms. Helms with the walk-off winner and the 2-run triple. But don't forget the 2 scoreless innings by Jorge Sosa. He wobbled in that 11th, and I know he got that sharp one hopper off the bat of McLeod for a fortunate double play. But the fact remains that of everybody in the bullpen, the guy that came in and shut down the Braves was Jorge Sosa. Let's go down to Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, thank you very much, Rich. Boy, how would you describe this week, Wes Helms?
It's been unbelievable. It's definitely been mentally stressing with the games we've had, but you know what? As long as we come out on top and win the series, it makes it worth it. This is definitely the game that we love to play, and you got to love to go through this.
Have you ever seen a week? This is 4 walk-off wins. It ties a Marlins record. 4 walk-off wins way back in '98 in 1 week.
Well, I tell you, man, like I said, it doesn't matter how you win it. You want to win it a little smoother, but something like this can definitely pick us up. We really need it. And to do it 4 times, down to go on the road, we can carry this on the road. So, yeah, we, it's definitely stressful, but, it's always fun to win.
How stressful was your at-bat there? Your bases loaded, nobody out, and just take us through what you're thinking. You don't want to get too antsy there, but you're pretty good at keeping your emotions.
Well, I don't want to get too antsy. I want to get a good pitch to hit. And, in a situation like that, he does not want to walk me because the game's over anyway. So, he's got to come around the plate. So I'm going to definitely get my aggressiveness up a little bit. I didn't hit it that hard. But, when you got the infield in, it just gives it a little more open to do it. So,
over the top! You missed him! You missed him!
So, yeah, definitely, he don't want to walk me there. So, you got to open up your aggressiveness a little bit. But you still got to stay under control. And, he left me 2 pitches to hit.
Didn't you get Coughlin last year with a cream pie?
I don't mind. As long as we win, doesn't matter how they do it. I want them to get me just like I get them.
Hey, another big hit in this game, obviously, was your triple in the 4th inning against Jair Jurgens, who's been on a great roll. Just talk about what that inning did for you guys, and also the way Volstad battled back.
It was big. 2 reasons for Volstad to get his start today, to come out here and do well for him to get his confidence back. And second of all, since coming off DL, Jurgens been pitching outstanding, and we know we got our work cut out for us with that Brave staff and the team they got. So to come up with a triple there to get us on the board, and Volstad kind of settled in, you can just see his confidence kind of go up a level when that happened.
This win, Wes, key for obviously a lot of reasons, but it also immediately takes that sting away from last night's win and gives you a great, 7-3 homestand. I know you had a tough loss Saturday, but now you go with some momentum to the West Coast.
Yeah, had a great homestand, and we're back to 500, and this is big for us. This is big to be only 8 games out now instead of 10 or 12. So, we got to go to San Fran and San Diego and hopefully get some help from the Nationals with the Braves, and it'd be nice to come back from this road trip 5 or 6 games out.
All right, have a great trip. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you.
What a game there for a real pro, Wes Helms, with 2 big hits, getting the start at third base. He tripled in 2 in the 4th. He gets the game winner in walk-off style. That's 4 walk-offs in a week. Back at Marlins Live.